You can feel it almost instantly. Some women walk into a room and do not need to compete for attention, do not need to talk over anyone, do not need to prove they are special, and still everyone notices them. It is in the way they speak. Calm, clear, unshaken. Their words do not sound heavy because they are loud. They sound powerful because they come from certainty, and that changes everything. A man may forget a perfect face for a moment, a trendy outfit, even a charming line, but he will remember the woman whose presence made him sit straighter, listen harder, and feel that he was standing in front of someone who truly knows herself. That kind of energy cannot be copied with tricks. It cannot be faked for long. It comes from deep self-respect, and once it is there, it enters every sentence, every pause, every look, every answer. Stay with me, because this is where it gets interesting. The difference is not only in what she says to men, it is in what she refuses to say. It is in what she no longer explains. It is in the calm she keeps when others expect her to chase, plead, overgive, or shrink. And once you understand this, you will hear communication in a completely different way. A woman with strong values speaks with natural confidence, not performance, not attitude, not cold distance, just real confidence. She does not rush to fill silence because silence does not scare her. She does not explain every decision as if she is asking for permission. She does not keep checking someone's face to see if they still approve of her. Her tone stays steady. Her words stay clean. She speaks like someone who has already accepted herself. And because of that, she does not need to fight for space in the conversation. This is where many people miss the point. Real confidence is quiet. It does not beg. It does not over-decorate. It does not throw itself around to be seen. It simply stands there and lets the truth carry weight. When she shares an opinion, she shares it clearly. When she disagrees, she does not panic. When she says yes, it sounds honest. When she says no, it sounds final. That is why people respect her. Not because she demands worship, but because her communication shows that she respects herself first. And people feel that. Men feel it first. They notice when a woman is speaking from inner peace instead of hidden fear. They notice when her energy says, I like myself, I trust myself, and I am not here to audition for acceptance. That kind of presence is rare, and rare things naturally stand out. She is not trying to win every conversation. That alone gives her an unusual kind of power. She does not speak just to impress. She does not flirt through confusion. She does not create little games to test whether a man will chase harder. She says what she means, and she means what she says. If she likes the moment, she enjoys it. If she does not force it. If a conversation is beautiful, she lets it be beautiful. If it is empty, she does not pretend it is something more. That honesty makes her feel real, and real always lands deeper than performance. Watch this closely. She does not soften her standards to avoid rejection. She does not water herself down to seem easier to handle. She knows that the right person does not need a smaller version of her. So when she speaks, there is no begging energy underneath the words. No hidden plea saying, please choose me. Please like me. Please do not leave. Instead, there is clarity. She can be warm without becoming weak. She can be soft without losing shape. She can be open without becoming careless. This balance is what makes her unforgettable. And yes, it changes the entire dynamic. Because when a man feels that he is speaking to a woman who is grounded, he also understands that he cannot move her with half effort, mixed signals, or empty charm. That moment changes the air in the room. She also understands something that saves her from so much pain. Not every conversation must lead somewhere. Not every spark means destiny. Not every nice message deserves emotional investment. She does not force a future onto a moment. She can enjoy connection without trying to control where it goes. That is a huge strength. Many people create pressure too early. They overread, they over-attach, they overgive before trust is built. But a strong woman stays present. She listens, she watches, she feels the energy for what it is, not for what she hopes it becomes. And because she is not trying to squeeze certainty out of every interaction, her communication feels lighter, smoother, more magnetic. This part matters, so do not miss it. When disagreement comes, she does not crumble. She does not become defensive just because someone sees things differently. She can hold her view without turning the moment into a battlefield. She can say, "That does not work for me," and still remain calm. She can hear a different opinion without losing herself in it. This is emotional strength in motion. She does not need to win to feel secure. She does not need to dominate to feel important. She can smile, step back, change the subject, or walk away, all without drama, all without hate, all without that desperate urge to be understood by someone who is committed to misunderstanding her. And that level of peace speaks louder than 1,000 clever lines. Boundaries are one of the clearest places where her communication becomes powerful. She does not wait until resentment is boiling to finally speak up. She makes her standards clear early, calmly, directly, without extra decoration. She says what she expects, what she welcomes, and what she will not accept. There is no fog around her words, no mixed signal that says one thing today and another tomorrow. She is clear because confusion is expensive, and she respects herself too much to live inside emotional chaos. Notice the difference. Her boundaries are not threats. They are not dramatic speeches. They are not emotional traps designed to see who jumps through hoops. They are simple truths. I do not accept disrespect. I do not accept disrespect. I value consistency. I do not stay where I feel drained. If you are not serious, I am not interested. Short, clean, strong. And the reason these words have impact is because she is ready to live by them. She does not speak limits she cannot enforce. She does not draw lines only to erase them when attention feels good. She follows through. That is what teaches people how to treat her. If someone tests her, she does not waste energy trying to convince them to change. She simply changes her access. That is maturity. That is self-protection. That is wisdom. And for the right man, this does not feel harsh. It feels refreshing. Because clarity removes games. And serious people value clarity more than sweet confusion. A woman like this does not apologize for having standards. She does not act embarrassed because she wants honesty, effort, respect, and emotional maturity. She is not worried about being called difficult by people who only liked her when she had no boundaries. She understands that being clear may push away the wrong people, and she is at peace with that. Let that sink in. Many people suffer because they are more afraid of losing attention than losing peace. So they stay quiet when something feels off. They laugh nervously when they want to say no. They explain too much. They keep giving chances long after respect is gone. But a strong woman has learned that every time she abandons her own truth to keep somebody comfortable, she pays for it inside. So she stops paying that price. She speaks earlier. She speaks cleaner. She speaks with grace, but she still speaks. And that changes the quality of her relationships. Because now she is not collecting people who are drawn to her confusion. She is drawing in those who can meet her in truth. This does not mean she is harsh or rigid. It means she is awake. She knows that peace is precious. She knows that emotional safety matters. She knows that love without respect becomes pain in a beautiful outfit. So when she communicates her limits, it is not to control anyone. It is to protect what is sacred in her life. That is why her words feel steady. They are rooted in self-respect, not fear. Her honesty is another reason her communication stands out. She does not hide behind false sweetness. She does not say what sounds good while secretly feeling the opposite. She does not pretend to be more interested than she is. less hurt than she is, less serious than she is, or more available than she is. She tells the truth with kindness. That combination is powerful, because honesty without grace can wound, and grace without honesty can mislead. She carries both. If she likes someone, she can show it. If she does not, she can say it politely. If something bothered her, she addresses it before it turns into emotional distance. She does not use silence as punishment. She does not wait for someone to guess what went wrong. She communicates. Simple, mature, clean, and this creates trust. People know where they stand with her. She does not give fake compliments just to keep attention. She does not offer empty promises to hold interest. She does not perform mystery when clear truth would serve better. This is why her words carry weight, because they are not cheap. They are not thrown around carelessly. When she says something, it comes from a real place. And in a world full of mixed messages, hidden motives, and emotional smoke, sincerity feels almost rare enough to be luxurious. That is why it leaves such a deep mark, not because it is loud, but because it is real. And people are starving for what is real. There is also emotional maturity in the way she delivers difficult truth. She does not weaponize honesty. She does not wait until she is full of anger and then unload everything like fire. She understands timing. She understands tone. She understands that truth lands better when it is delivered with control. So if something is wrong, she addresses it before it becomes poison. If a pattern is bothering her, she names it with calm words instead of building secret resentment. If she is disappointed, she can express disappointment without trying to humiliate the other person. This is not weakness. This is mastery. Anyone can explode. Anyone can accuse. Anyone can make a scene. But it takes depth to stay composed while still being truthful. And here is the part many overlook. Her calm does not mean she feels less. It means she handles what she feels with strength. That is a massive difference. She does not stay silent because she fears conflict. She speaks because she respects the connection enough to keep it clean. She knows that silence can become distance, and distance can become bitterness. So she chooses clarity over guessing games. If she is upset, she says why. If she needs space, she says so. If she no longer wants to continue, she can end things without turning the moment into chaos. That is why being around her feels safe. Not because everything is always easy, but because everything is honest. And honesty, handled well, creates peace. One of the most attractive things about her is that she does not chase. She can be interested without becoming restless. She can be warm without overreaching. She can enjoy a man without making him the center of her emotional world after a few good conversations. This is where many dynamics lose balance. One person starts over-giving, over-texting, over-explaining, over-adjusting, overthinking every pause. But she does not move like that. Her energy says, I am open, but I will not run after what is unsure. And that message is felt even when she never says those exact words. She does not flood a man with attention to secure a place in his life. She does not rearrange her whole schedule to prove she is easy to choose. She does not act like access to her time has no value. She allows room. She lets effort reveal itself. She watches whether interest is matched. She pays attention to consistency, not just chemistry. And if a man becomes distant, she does not panic and chase harder. She notices, she adjusts, she steps back. That is strength, because the need to chase usually comes from fear. Fear of losing the possibility, fear of not being enough, fear of silence. But when a woman knows her value, she does not run behind fading energy. She lets what is real come forward and lets what is weak fall away. That saves her from so much confusion and so much unnecessary pain. She also knows the difference between being open and being too available. This is a subtle thing, but it matters more than most people realize. She can enjoy connection deeply and still keep her own life intact. She does not drop her plans every time someone calls. She does not make a man the main event before he has shown real consistency. She keeps her routines, her work, her rest, her priorities, her friendships, her inner life. That balance is beautiful. It shows that her world is full, not empty and waiting to be filled by whoever appears. And that fullness changes the way she talks. Her words do not sound needy, because her life is not leaning on one person for meaning. She can say, "I would love to see you," without sounding like her happiness depends on the answer. She can express interest without losing self-command. She can be affectionate without becoming attached to fantasy. This is magnetic because it feels emotionally clean. It feels inviting but self-contained. And yes, men notice. They notice when a woman is not trying to hook them with pressure. They notice when she is present without being possessive. They notice when she gives warmth but still keeps her center. And the truth is simple. Balanced energy is unforgettable because it feels rare. It feels healthy. It feels like peace instead of pressure. And peace, when it is genuine, is one of the most attractive qualities a person can carry. Another thing that makes her stand out is the way she listens. Truly listens. Not the kind of listening where someone is only waiting for their turn to speak. Not the kind where the phone steals half the attention and the mind is already building the next answer. She listens with presence. That changes everything. When a man speaks, she is not instantly turning the conversation back to herself. She is not interrupting just to prove she understands. She gives room. She lets a thought breathe. She notices what is being said and also what is being avoided. She listens to tone, to consistency, to emotion, to the small gap between words and actions. This does not make her passive. It makes her perceptive. And perceptive people see more than others think they see. This is important, so stay with me. A woman who listens well does not become easy to fool, because while others are busy performing, she is observing. While others are projecting fantasy, she is noticing patterns. While others are trying to force connection, she is sensing whether connection is actually there. Good listening is not just attractive, it is protective. It helps her understand character. It helps her detect sincerity. It helps her avoid building dreams on weak foundations. At the same time, it also makes the other person feel deeply seen. And being truly seen is powerful. In a noisy world, presence feels like luxury. That is why people remember it. But her listening does not mean she accepts everything. She is curious, yes. Open, yes. Attentive, yes. But she is not naive. She pays attention to how a man speaks about other people. She notices whether his words match his actions. She notices whether he listens back, whether he is emotionally available, whether he respects her time, whether he handles disappointment with maturity, whether he is consistent when things are easy and when they are not. She is not collecting perfect lines. She is reading energy, effort, and character. That is a much deeper skill, and because she is paying attention, she does not get swept away only by charm. Charm can be bright and empty, attention can be intense and temporary. Attraction can be real and still not be enough. She understands this, so she lets people reveal themselves over time. She does not rush intimacy. She does not hand over trust before trust is earned. She does not confuse excitement with safety. This alone protects her from so much heartache. And when she finally gives more of herself, it means more, because it is not random. It is chosen with awareness. That is another reason her communication feels strong. It is not just words. It is discernment inside words. She is not talking from fantasy. She is talking from observation. That makes her calm, that makes her measured, and that makes her presence very hard to forget. When respect is missing, her response is simple. not always easy, but simple. She does not bargain for basic decency. She does not keep explaining why honesty matters, why consistency matters, why kindness matters, why loyalty matters. She knows that people who truly value those things do not need endless lessons on them. So if a man keeps showing carelessness, mixed signals, avoidance or disrespect, she does not spend months trying to turn him into someone else. She reads the pattern and makes a choice. This is where her strength becomes very visible. She does not need a dramatic ending to leave a wrong situation. Sometimes her power is in how quietly she withdraws. No endless speech, no emotional begging, no performance. Just a calm decision that says, this no longer fits my standards and I am choosing peace. That kind of self-command shocks people who are used to chaos, because many expect tears, chasing, second chances without change or emotional bargaining. But she knows better. She knows that closure does not always come from one final conversation. Sometimes closure comes from accepting what the pattern already said. That level of maturity saves time, energy, and dignity. And here is the truth. Her power is not in making men fear losing her. Her power is in genuinely being willing to walk away from what does not honor her. That is the difference between a boundary spoken and a boundary lived. At the same time, she is not cold. This is important because many people confuse self-respect with emotional distance. A strong woman can be playful, she can laugh easily, she can be deeply affectionate, she can be soft in her eyes, gentle in her words, generous in her heart. She can love fully, she can care deeply, she can build warmth around the people who deserve access to her inner world. But even in her softness, there is structure. Even in her kindness, there is wisdom. Even in her openness, there is discernment. She does not become less feminine by being clear. She does not become less lovable by being selective. She does not become hard just because she no longer accepts confusion as romance. In fact, the opposite is often true. The more she respects herself, the more natural her warmth becomes, because now it is coming from freedom instead of fear. She is not giving to secure love. She is giving because giving feels true. She is not being patient because she is afraid to lose someone. She is being patient because peace is part of who she is. She is not being kind because she wants approval. She is being kind because her character is strong. That kind of softness is powerful because it is not fragile. It is rooted. It is not asking to be chosen. It is choosing how it wishes to show up. And that changes the entire feeling of her presence. So when you hear people say that certain women leave a lasting impression, this is often what they mean. Not just beauty, not just style, not just mystery. It is the way she carries herself through conversation, the way her words are clear without being sharp, the way her boundaries are firm without being loud, the way her honesty is clean without being cruel, the way her interest is warm without becoming desperate, the way her listening is soft but highly aware, the way her energy says, I know my worth and I do not need to chase love to deserve it. That message changes every interaction. It changes how she is treated. It changes what she allows. It changes who stays and who leaves. And most of all, it changes how she feels inside her own life. Because once a woman speaks from self-respect, she stops living in emotional hunger. She stops over-explaining. She stops shrinking. She stops calling confusion passion. She stops begging for what should be offered freely. And in that shift, everything starts to look different. People respond differently. Relationships feel different. Her peace deepens. Her standards rise. Her voice becomes steadier. And the most beautiful part is this. She does not need to become someone fake to reach that place. She only needs to return to what was always true inside her. Quiet strength, clear truth, warm presence, strong limits, honest words, real peace. That is the language that earns deep respect, and it never goes out of style.